side. Here's what Camp Sunshine sure turned out to be. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, awesome.
Okay. Who's the artist in these groups? Yeah, who was the artist in these Explorers? Teen? Camp Explorer and Teen, or how's that go?
This is just Explorers right now.
Oh, no teens in here. Okay.
No, not yet.
Oh, the teens are outside. I left them out there. Okay, so whoever is responsible for this art, you'll get your original graphic back. You'll also get a copy of what we did when we took your graphic and imported it into our art program. Oh, look at here. This is the last group. This was the original one from Funshine. So we went from this picture, then we imported it into our art program on our computer. We let the computer do all the work. In the old days, we had to trace this ourselves. Computer traces it, and then we need it like this, black on a clear, usually it's film or vellum. Okay, this is called vellum. It takes the place of film, which we used in the past. It was clear on both sides. Okay, and then we put this on the screen, and I'll explain it to you in just a few minutes. But right now I want to tell you a little bit about what you're doing if you haven't been here before. Now the whole reason we started the field trips here is because All American is the name of my company, and it implies exactly what I am. I'm patriotic. I love our country. I love the fact that as a single mom I could own my own company and do great things back into the community. And where else could that happen? I think this is the greatest country in the world, and I've never done anything in my life other than reap the benefits of just being born here. So what I decided to do right after 9/11 was start thanking the troops. Because there's men and women that make a lot of sacrifices for us to enjoy the liberties that we have in this country. You know, we're just born here, and sometimes we forget how important those people are in the past. You know, does anyone in here have a family member that's in the military? Their dad was. How about you?
Dad and grandpa.
Dad and grandpa?
My grandpa was in the
Cousin? Another grandpa?
My dad was.
Who?
My dad was.
Dad. Dad. Grandpa. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to the fact that even in this group alone, there's a lot of dads that made sacrifices that you don't even realize. If they ever went overseas, for example, they spent months living in a tent. It's only fun if you do it for a weekend, like 4th of July coming up. Woo! But when you live in a tent that's the same color as the desert, and you stay there for a long time, you make a lot of sacrifices. And when kids like you take the time to write letters like these, it lets them know that they have purpose. I'm going to borrow her letter. She started. Okay? So the content of this letter is just to say thank you. And we're going to put this together with a free t-shirt. So for everyone who visits here today, these will go with a patriotic t-shirt to the troops that are stationed overseas. And we pick overseas because of the fact, even though I'm thankful for the men and women that serve right here, even at Southbridge, this is just, imagine if you were in a tent and you're hearing a lot of bad press and people are saying you're there for the wrong reasons, and you might feel a little discouraged. It doesn't matter what your viewpoint is of the war. It's these men and women are making a sacrifice because they really believe they're doing something good for all of us. So for us to say one thank you, it's amazing how that trickles in, the trickle-down effect. So far we've sent out more than 25,000 t-shirts and letters from kids like you in the community. We stopped counting 3 years ago. We started to start counting again this year, and up to date this year, Gloria estimated somewhere that 2,000 kids have come through. That's a lot of kids. Okay, so that's the number one reason. When you fill this out, it tells the soldier down here how they can reach you. So you don't have to read that if you're not a soldier. You're going to want to make sure that you put Warren Parks and Rec at the top. Sign your name here, and we're only letting first names go on this line. Okay? And the content here, just imagine when you receive a card, it's generally pretty happy and joyful. So we don't want to talk about negative things, but you can ask questions. I used to say, don't ask them questions. They're busy, but the soldiers that we've heard back from said they really appreciate that because then they know what to say. Okay, so write questions if you have any, and you'd be surprised at some of the information you can learn from our heroes. Okay, now, if you've never done this before, I want to point out this press over here. This is called a manual screen printing press, and in this shop we have 2 of them. This one's one you're going to be printing your shirts at today. There's another little bit smaller one over in the corner. And then you'll see in the back a big one. That big one is the one we run some of our huge orders for. Like this, not too long ago, we were under contract to print for the Detroit Red Wings. just in case they won. And they didn't, we were ready. And we still have the ink to prove it. Lots and lots of red ink. Did anyone pick red today? Red ink's free.
Actually, yeah, the teams came from.
But we're going to hang on to it for next year. That t-shirt press back there, according to the manufacturer, will print up to 1,000 shirts per hour. We don't ever run it that quick, because when you print 1,000 shirts an hour and that thing's flying, you can't tell if it looks good or not. So we slow it down to about half that, just so that we can be proud of the work that lives here or leaves here, we can see it. You're not going to have to print that quickly today. This manual press, John's going to be your helper. I think he's setting up your screen right now.
No, that's the team.
Okay, you can answer any questions you want or have up there.
Does he know that?
More questions to ask, the funnier he is. But there's a tool called the squeegee. We have your specific group's artwork on the screen already. He's going to help you use that tool, pull some ink across the screen, deposit it onto the shirt. One thing I'd like you to keep in mind, the ink is wet. Okay? If you ever broke an ink pen,
John.
do that.
John,
See how that ink
do you know
is
that
going,
that's not the
going,
screen
look down, you
that
go
we
over
need
to
right
that
now?
into permanent.
This is the
Same
Camp
concept.
Explorers.
Okay.
Do you have that
Your
screen
voices are being
out?
recorded now.
Screen's like 2 hours ago.
Okay. Now, after you print on there, you're going to drop, you're going to let John take the t-shirt off the board. He's going to put it on the oven. The oven's kind of hidden behind this big pile of boxes.
Right here.
That must mean we're busy. So my dad did all the ventilation for me. It looks really crazy. A crazy person did it, but it actually works. Yeah, it works really nice. Keeps our air clean. Okay, so that oven is set at 800 degrees on the inside. As your t-shirt takes a ride down that conveyor belt, by the time it hits the center, ideally, the ink temperature will reach 350 degrees. Now, 350 degrees is pretty much the same temperature you use at home in your oven when you're baking something. So guess what's happening? Your ink is baking, just like a pizza. And when it comes off this end, it's ready to wear. Okay? And if it's cured properly, that ink will outlast your shirt. And that's our goal, to always to make sure everything's cured and printed perfectly. Okay, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes something goes on with that oven, but that's our goal, to make sure that oven's always running properly. Now, do you ever see a pizza oven?
Yeah.
Okay, same concept, and I just want to point out the fact that oven will cook a pizza, because I tried it one time, and I tell everybody that story. Then I had to decide, do we want to do pizza or do we want to do t-shirts? Because pizzas are kind of messy, and we stuck with t-shirts. Hey, not a really nice pizza restaurant, would it be? No better t-shirt factory. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions, I don't want to kill you with too much information about screen printing, but I'm happy to answer any questions. I've been in business for 20 years. I've read all the books I've actually had to print. There was a season in this business where I did actually have to pull the squeegee. But I believe that it's an art, and even though John's technically an engineer, we're lucky to have him as our head screen printer right now. And he's pretty smart, so if you want to ask him any questions about engineering or t-shirts, he can help you out. Okay? Question?
Well, it's not really about the screen printing, but like the letters that you do. Have you ever gotten like a group of soldiers to like write you back a thank you letter for setting this up?
For doing this? Yeah, mostly I get the biggest thing that happens is I see kids get letters back, and then sometimes I hear about the kids having a pen pal show. So the biggest reward I get is hearing that we made somebody smile and that friendships were developed, because we hear stories later about how, a group of soldiers adopted a group of Girl Scouts, and they both, took care of each other. Like the Girl Scouts would send cookies, and the guys would send things that they, interesting things from overseas. I have a couple of cool things in my office. A flag. There's like 2 flags in there, and there's even an Iraqi flag that some Marines had sent back to me because they were stationed in Iraq. So they took the flag and they signed their names on it and sent me that.
She's got pictures in her lobby too on the wall, which are
right. We used to have
nice,
hundreds of pictures hanging in the lobby, but we actually painted. So we have one in there that says "We will never forget." It's a picture of a soldier, and then he's standing in front of what's that wall with all the names on it? I'm having
I
anyway,
know
there's a
which
lot
one
of
you
men and women who've actually lost their lives for our country, and